All right, so the headers are on, and it's time to put the mufflers on. We got the 4.5-inch BAM sticks with the zombie mufflers. We're about to unbox these now and get them on. Hi. So, 3 days later, which we will explain later in the video why that is, but headers are on and it's time to install some mufflers. We got the 4.5-inch BAM sticks with the zombie mufflers. We're about to unbox these now and get them on.
What's happening? So, how do you like the pipes?
So, been done for a bit now. Got to ride a few times. Long ride today. Love these pipes, man. Love these pipes. Aside from the sound alone, I mean, they just sound angry. They're loud, and they sound great, in my opinion. I think you think so too. Our sounds are a little bit different,
right? I mean, you're
similar,
talking about a twin cam versus the 8-valve M8. This is, and you're also talking about a 2-into-1-into-2 exhaust and a 2-into-2 header that you have on your bike, and those two headers make your bike sound significantly different.
Right.
I love this 2-into-2. How this sounds. I mean, you really hear those, the cylinders. But I think this sounds just mean. I mean, the bike just sounds.
It does sound mean. It's loud. I feel like, and Monkey might have even said this. Just under load, like throttle down on the highway, like it sounds great.
Yeah.
In like 5th, 6th gear, it sounds great.
On both bikes, the D cell is sick.
Yeah.
I've never had an exhaust that sounded like that on the D cell. So
yeah.
It's definitely very cool. I will say that the 4.5-inch BAM sticks that we put on your twin cam, due to the nature probably of the twin cam and nothing more than that, with the Zombie Baffles, are definitely louder on the twin cam. I feel like both bikes are loud, but I feel like the twin cam is really loud.
Yeah.
Setup on the bike, tab, 2-into-2 header, 4.5-inch BAM stick, Zombie Baffles, slash cut tips, and the tip extenders from tab. The other thing we did is you put an Arlen Ness Big Sucker air cleaner on there from your Screaming Eagle one that you had on there prior, and there's a reason coming up for that in a future video. Yeah. And then a Power Vision. So that's the whole setup you have right now. Right. What do you think?
So a couple things I did notice right off the bat. Definitely a little more throttle response and a little better torque. When I get on it, it just goes a little bit quicker than it did before. Again, probably having to do with the tune as much as the pipes. And then also I've noticed I'm getting more out of each gear than I was before. I'm not having to shift as quickly. I'm getting up to higher speeds before I have to shift. I used to, like I told you, I used to be, if I'm hitting 70, I had to be in 6th. I'm able to go well beyond 70 in 5th now before I need motorcycles. Before I need to shift. And that's pretty much throughout all the gears. I'm just getting more out of each gear, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of, so torque, a big thing with torque is you came from the Vance & Hines 2-into-2 header, which was a, Vance & Hines says,
stay in the picture.
So in the picture. Vance & Hines true duals, right? You know, 2-into-2 header.
Right.
What Tab did is Tab put a crossover between the 2 header pipes, you know, that allows the bike to you know, scavenge a little bit more of the exhaust and provides more torque. So that crossover piece, not something you notice because it's like you can't see it behind your heat shields.
Right.
It's, if you were to look at a bike with Tab headers, it's like right by the transmission cover, and you know.
Serious right now?
Bug landed right on the lens.
Oh, there's 2 of them on the camera.
It's that's something that seems small and that you know might think is trivial, is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, because you're feeling it in the performance.
Yeah.
So.
Love it. Love the sound.
Yeah.
Love the difference it's made, and I'm excited.
You know, it's a world away from those old Kirkers that were on
Yeah.
here. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
So.
Your bugs are coming out now, buddy.
It's that time at night in the pines.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the setup on the bike.
Yeah.
An exhaust install is an exhaust install. We didn't film that.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of things working on not an old bike, but just a little bit of an older bike. A couple of things that we ran across. One, we weren't taking off stock parts. We were taking off aftermarket parts.
Yeah.
And a couple of pointers that I think the Vance & Hines headers you had.
Suck.
Yes, they did.
Suck.
So the way the Vance & Hines header is designed with the O2 sensor, and it was the front O2 sensor. Was it the front or the rear? I forget which O2 sensor it was.
That's what we got mixed up. I think
Yeah.
it was the front.
So
one of them.
the bolt was like really seized in there tight, and the way the Vance & Hines header is, it kind of like bubbles up around the bolt, and the bolt sits in like this valley. It was impossible to get a wrench on that thing, and we were
can
just
actually
like,
show that.
Yeah, we can show that.
I'll put a picture in there of that.
And then, so that was like the first, like, I think
Hiccup?
The first hiccup we kind of ran into.
Had to order a new O2 sensor because that old one wouldn't come out.
Yeah,
Then, by our mistake,
got the wrong.
we
O2
ordered the wrong one.
Yeah.
So, came back to continue the process. Wrong O2 sensor. Shut down again.
So-
Next day, had to get the right one. Got that. Then got back on track.
So one thing about the Harley O2 sensors, they are front and rear specific.
Yes.
The plugs are, even though the O2 sensor obviously looks the same, it's on there. They are front and rear specific. If my bike was, 6,000 miles when we put my exhaust on. Your bike is 40,000 plus, changing this exhaust. If I, again, was doing this, there are a couple of things that I would do differently on a bike with more miles doing this exhaust than we did on mine.
Yep.
And I would get 2 new O2 sensors. They're not expensive. In the grand scheme of things, they're $60.
Yeah.
Replace your O2 sensors. Just put new ones in there while you're in there, because you're talking about getting a header off. The other thing that we learned from Steve at Sick Baggers is when you're taking your header off or you're replacing your header, don't fight. Like, you'll see people on YouTube that are like, well, over torque the O2 sensor and then put it on like after the header's mounted. Put the O2 sensor on the header on the bench. Take that to the bike, route your O2 sensor, plug it in. It's so much easier, and it's just a plug.
Yeah, that was one thing we learned from doing yours.
Yeah.
And then after that, we did that right on this one. Heat shields on this one were a little bit of a
Heat
headache.
shields, yeah, but I think heat shields are always tough. I mean, it's the heat shields were there's just not a lot of room.
They're just tough to get to spots.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
just time consuming. You got to mess with
shield.
it, get your fingers in there, but
And that's, I mean, I think those are like the big pointers. Oh, New exhaust clamps.
Yes.
Is the other thing.
O2 sensor
again,
exhaust clamp. They're $10.
Mine were fine. I don't have a lot of miles on my
Right.
bike. 40,000 miles plus on these exhaust clamps. Things are rusted.
Rusty. Yep.
There was finagling to get these exhaust clamps like back on. They were pretty, you know, just old and rusted up. So I would just, in hindsight, instead of fighting with an exhaust clamp, when you order your exhaust, get 2 new O2 sensors, get 2 new exhaust clamps, make your life so much easier.
Yeah.
And that was like, that's kind of what we ran into, which is nothing really to do with Tab, but I mean, all us as guys who haven't done a lot of exhaust, putting an exhaust on a bike.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it looks great. I think it sounds great. I just wanted to point out again the tip extenders that are on the, it's like a little 4.5-inch tip extender. You have a, you know, Dominator fender. It's a little bit more swept back to the back of the bike than a standard Harley Davidson
Right.
fender. So it was nice to have those tip extenders to get the pipes to be just a little bit proud of the bags.
Yeah, well, without it, it was actually recessed.
We were going to be inside the bags.
Didn't look good at all.
Yeah, no.
So no, definitely needed those.
I mean, again, stock setup, you're not going to need them. They would actually be too much.
Right.
But I think if you're going with, you know, it allows you to go with a custom fender, some custom bags.
Yeah.
It's like a little detail that I think is pretty cool. The Tab thought. So.
Awesome.
Final thoughts? You like them?
Final thoughts. I love them. Got almost 200 miles today on them.
Yeah.
Rode the other night on them. I think they sound amazing. I don't even want to wear the full face helmet now because I want to just be able to hear them. But I think they sound great. I mean, you guys are behind me riding. You know, what do you think?
Yeah. No, I think they sound good. I was pretty close to you today. I mean, we didn't have a big group.
Yeah.
It was the 4 of us early on, but then just you know, me, you, and Piney Princess coming home. So. I don't think going down the road as somebody riding behind you, I don't think that they are obnoxious.
Okay.
You know, and I think that's important, you know, for people to know.
I like obnoxious, but
yeah, well, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so I definitely, if you're in the market, man, give them a look, give Tab a look. I think they're awesome. I think they're well worth it. So
yeah, and just the performance gains you got alone are definitely worth doing the change out.
Yeah.
So, all right, listen, thanks for watching. Go check out Tab Exhaust. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring the bell, do the things, and
Comment.
Drop us a
Tell us what
comment.
you think.
Let us know what you're rocking.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you on the next one.
Later.